went in there and she'd fallen back to sleep. She wasn't shouting peep-bees, she was shouting, what time is it? The time is the middle of the night, Mom. The time's the middle of the night. You either have to go pee-pee or don't shout or don't sleep. Atrial fibrillation, congestive heart failure, cardiomyopathy. That's on top of all the mental illness, that's on top of the dementia, that's on top of not being able to walk anymore without assistance, with a walker or a wheelchair, all of that. And my epiphany is that the reason my mom is still breathing and still whatever is because her denial is both a blessing and a curse. She lives in denial, thinks nothing's wrong with her, and consequently she will put herself indisputably in danger. Because she tries to do things she's not supposed to try to do, and she just throws caution to the wind. She doesn't even think, whatever. But on the other hand, there are so many people who focus on all their ailments that I think it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. My mother doesn't realize how sick she is, and that consequently makes her less sick, which is kind of amazing. There's nothing wrong with my heart, there's nothing wrong with it, and meanwhile all those things I just listed are true. Meanwhile she's been, over the past less than 3 years, 2.5 years, a small amount of time, in and out of death's door, in and out of hospitals, ICU, hooked up to artificial nutrition, hydration, the whole 9 yards, and I think her denial is actually why she's still here. That was my epiphany. And it's also part of the reason why I fight so hard for her. And then that substitute nurse that wasn't even supposed to be here, doesn't even usually work this area, but was doing a favor for the other one who was too busy. Worked in nursing, various ones as a nurse, and tells everybody she knows how horrible they all are, all the facilities are, and just, if it's at all possible, keep your loved one home till the day they die. Don't put them in one of those places. This is coming from the horse's mouth. Someone who's in the trenches, in that place, on whatever, and just don't do it. So I continue to kill myself for my mom, who's totally ungrateful. I feel like I'm falling apart physically in ways I probably am not even aware of. Goes without saying, Joe thinks I'm crazy to sacrifice myself essentially for my mother because she doesn't appreciate me. It is so ungrateful, and but it's what I'm gonna continue doing unless I reach a point where I can't. if I have no choice. And yesterday, I'm almost like, what happens? I don't even know. What happens if something, if I have to call 911, what happens to her? Would they take her even if she was saying she's fine and can be here by herself? Is she, again, delusion? That's my biggest fear. It's my biggest fear because they don't take anyone against their will. What if something happened to me? My mom wouldn't go, she doesn't protect herself. She'd stay here. And if I was capable of being all upset, they wouldn't listen to me. We can't take her against her will. She says she's fine here. No, she's not. And then, oh my God, it'll be a living fucking, it'll be like a horror movie. Yesterday, I was like, am I going to have to call 911 myself? What's going to happen to my mother? If they refused to take her, I would, as long as I wasn't like, I'd probably say that I'm not going. Would you do that? Yeah, I would. Because it would be so horrific, and I know she won't survive here even at night by herself. Yes, I would. I would. But that keeps me up at night because yesterday my foot is hurting me really bad. Don't know why. I do know I've had problems with both feet though over the years. We all know that. I forget which one I broke, but they're both weak. They're both whatever. The makeshift bottom thing that my podiatrist back in Massachusetts made, she made one of those, $50 inserts. She made it to cater to my, whatever it's called. And that was starting to fall apart. I don't know, that keeps me up at night. You just add it to the list, but it keeps me up at night. Like if something happens to me, they probably just, unless my mom said she wanted, they probably just would leave my mom here. Because they wouldn't understand that she can't be left alone, and that would probably be the end of her. But it'd be out of my hands. I don't know, it's just too scary. I'm not thinking like if I was unconscious or if I, then if something happened to me, we'd hope my mom would call 911. I did say to her, if something happens to me, you gotta call 911. I was risking taking a shower. That was my epiphany. My mom pulls through and survives despite all of. Remember the doctor in the hospital. You're a good daughter. But you're the only reason your mother's alive. She has so many physical and mental problems. I know. And she's in denial about all of them, and that's probably, I think that's why she survives. Because she doesn't focus on it. She's in fucking denial about everything. Isn't that crazy shit? But on the other hand, her denial causes her to take risks that poor, just almost non-existent safety awareness. And that, we proved that 7 weeks ago. So, I mean, but we also proved it even just a couple weeks ago, the day of her discharge from that place, because she was doing things that could have, right in front of me, could have easily landed her, right back in the hospital, if not worse, if not gone, if not, and it's just a weird situation. It's so fucking. I've been living on borrowed time for so long, that it's a no-brainer. It's like, no wonder I didn't, amounted to nothing, no wonder the CK thing was a bunch of delusional BS. I mean, I've been living on borrowed time for so long, it's just no wonder anything just. I used my mom's shower chair. They also stood up. I did use the shower chair. But when I took a shower, I was like, I gotta at least take a shower or something. Something's gonna happen to me, and then I gotta at least get in, be clean. This is just a continuously precarious situation. Again, the idea of my mom, it's just solidified now. What happened this last one, high-rated bunch of awful, just finding her pills all over the fucking floor. If you could have asked me what I would ever have happen that would have me in a tizzy, like so fucking upset, with my mom in a nursing facility, for any reason, it's either short-term rehab or permanent, so, we're trying to stop the permanent. Never would it be that they are in front of an incompetent resident, the nurses put down water and their pills and walk away, and then I find them all over the floor. You would never, ever would I have thought that. And it's supposed to be nurses too, giving them, and my mom probably doesn't know the difference. I'm not saying she's right about this, but she's like, I think that sometimes they have the aides give me my meds instead of nurses. And Lord only knows what's happening in there. I talked to her, not her primary care physician, but about the whole ALICIA thing, and the aspirin, the baby aspirin, the blood thinner being taken off of it, and the brain and all that, and I mentioned about the pills all over the floor and that, and how she started acting up at the end, and the nurse I was talking to was like, oh my God, it's like we don't know how often that happened, if she was getting her meds or consistently. No, we don't know shit, do we? We don't know shit. It's shocking. It's abhorrent. It's horrifying. I just assumed every place in Massachusetts gave my mom her meds with importing rebel sauce. They never gave it to her with water. Now I do give it to her in the breakfast with water or with her coffee. But I watch her And at night it's always yolk. But I'm just saying, it's not that you can't give it to her in water. Well, she can take it in water, says nurse directed me. It's not about that. You have to watch her and make sure she takes them. Yeah, but there's good nurses and bad nurses, and like that VNA nurse was saying, the good ones are going to do what they are supposed to do. The bad ones are going to do things like combine the meds, or like she said, she was someone who was a nurse who was given the meds. It was just to be given spaced apart at night and 5 p.m. and instead gave them to all at once, didn't care whether about smoking cigarettes, or she was in a place where there was actual abuse and she reported it, and in the end it was an upper person, I guess it wasn't like a aide or something, it was an upper person committing the abuse, and they ended up ganging up on her, and nothing happened. It was investigated, but it was covered up, and nothing happened. And I'm like, I don't know how you can do it. I couldn't stand it. It would break my fucking heart. And she's like, well, if we all left who were good or care at all, then it would be only the bad ones left. And so many of these residents, their family just throws them in there waiting for them to die. And I know that's not me, though. I fight and fight and fight for my mother, no matter how badly she treats me, no matter how much she's unaware, no matter how she doesn't appreciate it. Yeah, because she doesn't appreciate it and treats me so badly. When Joe's around, she treats him badly too. Orders him around, tells him what to do. When she was in the car last time, I remember trying to break his window open because he had her locked in, because where's she going to go? And she's going to fall flat on her face and on his watch. And while I'm quickly in my dentist who wanted to repair these front teeth, then I can't do it. I have my mom, who's home from the nursing service. She'll tell me, in the car with my friend who, he's doing a favor, but he doesn't like it. And now he'll never ever do it again. He'll never do it again. He will never again allow my mother in his car. So it hurted me. Don't know why. Don't know why. Who knows why? I'm in my late 50s now, or mid 50s. You fall apart. Lots of people, anything can happen. So I don't know how long at my age can I really continue being, woken up at any given moment, and I don't know. I'm gonna do it until it probably will destroy me. It's just what I'm going to do, because the alternative is, but it goes without saying, it's an extremely difficult situation all across the board. Again, my mom lives in La La Land, and consequently, you have to watch her like a hawk, because you turn your back for a second or whatever. But I had to do the shower. I took the risk. Stay here at this table. Please don't go anywhere with your wheelchair. Just stay and color, stay and do your pictures. Please, I'm begging you, Mom. I don't feel well. I have starts with D and begins with A, and don't know about that either. Why? probably nerves and lack of sleep and being worried sick about my mother and her continued very low safety awareness and they with my foot, I don't know. We did sit outside on the deck. I did do my back walking back and forth, but I'm walking back and forth slow, but again, you can move your foot a certain way and something can happen. Especially when I have weak feet. I've had repeated things happen to both my feet. And I finally ordered a washer and dryer. Ordered it from Lowe's. And then I get it. Voice note. Did you already order it? I wanted to tell you something. The something better not be don't order it, Joe. Okay? Just like with I set up a thing to trap the squirrel, and then Joe was like, well, how do you know? How are you gonna put a trap up on you, Joe? If you have a new job now and you're so busy, I know you're trying to protect me, but you can't shit on these things that I do when I have to do it and take my chances. Well, I just don't want you to get burned again. Like, I know, but on the one hand, if you're too busy to help me and I can't run anything by you anymore, I've got to make my own decisions whether I get burned or not, They insist that they can't put a trap up in the roof. Well, I don't see how that's possible. And you're trying to catch this squirrel in your roof, and you've got not just trying to catch any random squirrel with the trap on the ground. I'm like, well, you know what? It's my bank card. I'll dispute the charge and I'll win because I've been with this bank forever. And if I say they told me they put it on the roof and they come here and they're trying to just put it on the ground, I won't tolerate that. Because Joe's right. We're not just trying to catch any random squirrel. We're trying to catch the one that's in my house. But also, I'm sure it's going in and out. I don't know. It's a complicated situation, but Joe can't, you want me to do all these repairs and all these things, and before I was running everything by you, okay? I can't do that anymore because you're too busy and you have your new part-time job, and, so I have to do what I do, but after the fact, you can't shit on it. Well, if you want to perceive that way, that's fine. I'm not shitting on it. It's just that I don't want to see you get burned. Okay, but you have made a point of saying that you can't help me, that I got to do it all on my own. I got to do this and I got to do that. Then if I have to do it on my own, you can't, after the fact, say, well, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have done that. See? You have to just, if I get burned, I get burned. I probably will get burned because I don't know anything. Otherwise, when that kid, in quotations, knocked down my front gutter and put it back up, and there was a huge gap there, worse than I would have, but he's the professional, I would have known enough, like Joe would have known and said, hey, you need to fix that and make sure there's no animals that can get in there. I'm naive. This is my first house. I don't know any better. I will get burned. But there's nothing we can do if Joe's too busy to help me screen any of these repair people. There's too many things to do. I haven't even gone over the fucking mold report. Partially because I'm just nervous. I'm like, and now I'm feeling injury here and injury here, and then what's going on with me? I don't fucking know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with me. I shouldn't be staying up. But I wanted to watch more of the